What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Reality Pill. Today we are going to react to a Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys like and subscribe.
Hello, Jessica.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. How old are you?
I am 32.
32.
Danger zone. Yes.
So, what do we got going on, ma'am? Are you ready to shoot your shot for your man? Are you a shot
Indeed.
shooter?
Straight from the hip. Yes, I am.
All right. So I don't know what outcome do you want? Are you unmarried?
I am unmarried. I got married a few years ago, but it didn't work out
Okay.
because he couldn't have children anymore.
Okay.
And he was unaware of that. So I immediately divorced him because children was the outcome that I wanted to have.
Ooh.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Mm.
It was terrible, but like I told him from the beginning, I got married so we could have children, and then he found out he couldn't have children after we got married. So it was kind of ruthless, but so now I am actively looking.
I got one question. I gotta ask this.
What?
Are you a religious person? A Christian or anything?
Yes, I am.
So
My heart's beating so fast right now.
so in all seriousness, do you want to be handled like that by your spouse?
I don't, but when I met him, I told him that because I waited really long. I believed in the hype when I was younger, not to have kids and early on in my early 20s. I believed that hype. When older women told me that, I believed it.
You divorced your husband
So
because through no fault of his own, he could not reproduce.
well, yeah, and then but it wasn't. I mean, there was a little bit more into it
No,
than
ma'am.
that.
No, you can't. No. That's not. We don't do.
But that I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. It
Okay,
was wrong.
so you got to as a man out here on the market, I'm going to tell you what most men here,
I know it's terrible.
most men are like there's men. I must be honest. I tell men to avoid women like you.
I know it was terrible, Mr.
It's
Samuels, but he was older than me and he already
ma'am.
had
I
3
okay,
kids.
man.
I had
Okay,
one.
ma'am.
None.
There is no way you can make this any better
I know.
because you said it is what it is. You don't. You're saying that now because you're on in front of everybody. But I'm telling you, you don't want someone to handle you this way.
I know.
That's a great point, Kevin. Such a great point. If another man were to sit there and turn around and say, well, because you can't have children and we're 3-4 years into marriage, let me just go ahead and leave you. But then there's the other side to it where I can understand her point, because if she wants children and that's her ultimate life goal and she wants a family, who's to say that, she can't have children? Especially if she wants them to be from her. I can understand that. I respect that opinion. No problem with that. But still, the way in which you go about things, karma is a very real thing. How you treat people, especially at the lower points in their lives, oftentimes will be reflected right back onto you.
Then why was it okay? I mean, I'm curious because just a few days ago, I had a 27-year-old woman on here actively talking about leaving her husband to go try to get back with her ex-boyfriend
I
because
heard
he
that.
had more money.
I just listened to that tonight, and that disturbed me a lot. Hearing, I just listened to that episode
But
a
what
couple
you're
hours.
saying is what you're saying is on par with that.
I know it. I do know, and it was a very hard time for the both of us. And we came he was 15 years older than me. And I told it, and it was heartfelt because I really loved him. But at the same time, I have like my family is very like knit together, especially with children. And I told him, I was like, I can't. If I told him if I was a little bit older or a little bit younger,
Well, I'm gonna just
it
tell
would.
you. I'm gonna add. I mean, you see, man, karma's a bitch. How do you know you're gonna be able to carry children to term?
Exactly. I know. I do know that. It is, and it is,
But I'm
it was.
asking because I'm curious because we often hear about how bad men are in marriage and what we don't do. But see, we don't hear stories like we hear on my show. And the
I
way
know.
and the matter of fact way you women talk about, I left him specifically because he could not have children. You mean your own natural children? Because if you want children, everybody wants to have their own children, but he can't. He could adopt. So he was
Well,
infertile.
no, well, that was the whole thing. Like it didn't just happen like all of a sudden we get this diagnosis and it happened. It gradually happened over like a 9-10 month period. And like I told him when I told him I was going to file, I told him it's because he didn't give me any alternative. Like
He
he
didn't get,
wasn't
ma'am.
talking
Hold on.
about,
What do you mean he didn't give you any alternatives? What does that mean?
no, because like adoption or like,
Why
like
did
a
he need to give you that alternative?
no, because he never talked about it. Like he
Did you
never,
ever talk about it?
yeah, we would have open conversations
Did
about
he?
it. And
Hold on. Don't hold on. Calm down.
I know my heart's beating fast.
You're putting, ma'am. I'm just telling you how I'm hearing you.
I know.
I don't know if you know how crazy you sound. He didn't do anything. You're a grown motherfucking woman.
That's
Did
right.
you go to your husband and say, "Well, hey, honey, what about adoption?"
I did.
And what did he say?
No,
He said he did not want to adopt children.
that's what he said.
Based upon what?
He didn't feel like that was just a route he went. And
Okay.
then
When, this adoption, was this before or after you guys started talking about divorce?
this was right before.
And he has 3 children.
He does.
Well, ma'am, you make your bed, you lie in it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to just tell you, ma'am, any man with character hearing this,
It was terrible.
well, it's still terrible. Any man with character hearing this, you just got to know, don't be surprised if this turns me completely off. Because even the way you're talking about it right now, it's so matter of fact, and it's kind of like, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and my family is this, my family is that. You know, have you ever tested positive on a pregnancy test?
Of course.
Of course. I don't. What do you mean? Of course.
Well, I have when I was young, younger.
Okay. Did you terminate?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't go into the second trimester.
So, ma'am, by see where I'm going with this? How do you know that you can? If you miscarried, how do you know you can? How do you know if he was shooting the club up? How do you know you can carry a child?
Well, no, because we went through the whole process because after we were married for like 3 years, and after
I'm talking about the first. You said you've been pregnant, but you lost the child. The pregnancy wasn't. You didn't have a child.
Correct.
You did not self-delete. You did not
Correct.
terminate.
Correct.
So that means there was, for lack of a better word, a miscarriage.
Correct. An early one.
Okay, then how do you know that you can carry?
It's another great point. And I don't know why she started off by saying, of course, like everyone was getting pregnant back in the day. Like, of course, everybody was doing it. He was just getting pregnant and then we were just leaving them. But this is a great point by Kevin. How do you know you can? This man already has 3 children, so he at least has some type of track record of bringing children to this earth. But with this woman here, she's been pregnant before. It didn't go into the second term. How do we know it's not you the one with the issue of being pregnant and getting pregnant and not the man? Why is it on the man automatically? Unless she has some type of proof, some type of testing, that would make sense. But this man has children already. She doesn't. The issue can very well be her.
Well, I mean, I don't have any medical proof, but from like my family, I would like everybody in my family, they kind of like carry even on into like their 30s.
That doesn't mean that you will. Because your mom and your aunt gave birth, doesn't mean you will.
So like
what I'm trying to get you to look at is, ma'am, ultimately, and I'm not wishing that upon you, but I believe that the universe works. It's kind of like, that's cold.
It was cold.
It is cold. And now, and what you're basically saying is, hey, I want to get out here and find somebody else to marry so I can have my own kids. Okay, if you're saying your ex-husband didn't want to adopt, all right, fine. Keep it moving. Right. Let's get off this subject. But I'm gonna just tell you, the way you told that story, so I'm feeling. And so, matter of fact, if I had anybody around you, I would tell them to run. Because because what you're saying, ma'am, it's not okay. And you don't sound like you have one iota of care about it. It's like, fuck it.
I do.
I want these babies.
I do.
You do.
Like I said, I'm a little nervous.
But you say you, okay, ma'am, I need you to understand. You can say you do, but I'm telling you how the world, me and everybody else, is likely experiencing. And that's what you ladies need to understand. It doesn't matter what you say, it matters how it impacts somebody else.
Right.
So you want to get married, have kids, and you're ready to shoot your shot. At what time frame do you want to be married?
Within the next 2 years.
Are you dating anybody seriously right now?
I am seeing somebody.
Are you dating anybody seriously towards marriage?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So how long have you guys been together?
We've been together for 5 months.
5 months. All right. So I'm confused. Then why are you? Because this program is really about like shooting your shot and approaching new men. But if you already got it, man, why are you here? If you say you're serious.
Because I wanted to.
Go ahead.
Not gonna lie. I never knew how to get onto your show, and I just kind of jumped on there. But once you do shoot your shot, like I do, like I said, I do have somebody, and it is going well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want.
Go ahead.
Session with you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I hope you guys have had the conversation about marriage and what you want as far as outcomes. Does he have any children?
No.
So I gotta ask. This may sound crazy, but are you asking men to take fertility tests?
Is that bad?
I'm asking because, ma'am,
I haven't. But is that like?
You're cutting me off. I don't do that. I'm asking because if you're willing to divorce your husband because he was infertile, and then you say he didn't want to adopt, I'll just accept it, move on. But if you're willing to terminate your covenant with God and your husband, then that means you can't afford to have this happen again, right?
Correct.
So how are you verifying that the men you're considering or talking about seriously are all have healthy or can produce children? How are you verifying that with the men you're saying?
Mr. Samuel, you are a very, very smart man, and I haven't even thought about that part, but that is so important, and I think that is something that I'm going to bring up in conversation, and I'm going to make sure I do that beforehand.
Okay, but I want you to. How tall are you?
5'7".
Dress size?
I'm like a 9'10". I'm not gonna lie. I'm a 9'10". So
at 32 years old, your marriage market proposition is, hey, I've been married before. He didn't say anything about whether he was a good man or whatever. You said I divorced him because he couldn't make babies and he didn't want to adopt, and it's that important to me. Cool. Everybody
It
has their
was.
standard. Everybody, no, man, just moving on. Everybody has their standard. That's fine. But you go into the marketplace and you're asking men who maybe who you think may be suitable candidates for you to produce a sperm sample.
That sounds so bad. It's a lot. It's a lot more character that involves. It's not just a sperm sample because I could, it wouldn't be hard for me to just go out and get pregnant by anybody. So like,
That's not.
it's
But
not
no, no,
just
no,
that.
no. But see, I get what you're saying now. But you divorced your husband because he couldn't have children. So you're basic, and I'm saying, well, fine. If you're gonna leave one man, you got to know that every man you're possibly dealing with can produce children. So I want to know how that's supposed to work. Hey, before we even get serious, I need you to go ahead and take this cup
Well, you know what?
because I would
That's
love
why I
to.
said
Because I would love to know. Because here's the funny thing: I would love to know how this would happen in reverse. If I'm dating you and be like, hey, I want to have kids. So before I even take you out to Ruth Chris, I'm gonna need to go ahead and get your womb checked. I'm gonna need to get some of them eggs up out of
I'm
you.
not. Let me.
But I need you to understand how crazy that would sound to the market. How
I'm not
crazy
gonna
that
lie.
would
Like,
sound. No, listen. This makes sense to you. But I'm talking about an open goddamn dating market. Hi, on my Match.com, or my Plenty of Fish, or my Bumble, or my Tinder profile. Hey, I don't want to. I want to make sure to date me. I must have a semen sample.
that
And
is
it
so
must,
terrible. It's
well,
just
ma'am, that's why I was trying to make light up because that's what you're really saying. I need to know that you can produce, and that's the other side. If you're willing to, because there are guys who may be like, okay, cool. You want to get an STD battery? Fine. If you're willing to pay for it, no problem. But you're gonna have to produce the fact that you can carry and da 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 da. Because on the downside, I don't want to say it could happen. But what happens when you get married and all of a sudden you come back and it's like you can't again? Should he divorce you?
if he didn't have any children,
No,
I would
should.
completely understand it.
Ooh,
I really would. If
then
he didn't,
why? So I don't understand. I don't understand what marriage means. Then There's nothing Christian about this. There's nothing spiritual about this. I mean, I understand the want to have children, but there's nothing. I'm trying to help you, man, but that's like,
you are,
goddamn.
but you are helping me. The fact that you even mentioned that about getting,
Why? I mean, I gotta ask, why are kids so? Why are kids? Children are important, but why are children that important?
I,
Your natural born children.
I don't. I mean, I'm the youngest of six, and I'm the only one who doesn't have any kids. It is important. In my family, it's important.
Okay. Do you have any sisters?
I do.
How many?
Four.
4 sisters and one brother.
Mhm.
Where's the brother? Is he the oldest?
He's the second oldest.
Second oldest. So all 4 of your sisters are married?
Yes.
Is your brother married?
His wife, yes, he's married.
All right. So you're the baby, which problems already spoiled. And you used to get in your way. You've been married. You had a guy who was older than you. He had kids, but he couldn't. He didn't want to adopt. Fine. I'm just laying it out as the market, man. As the market, if you go into the market, that's what you're basically saying. Hey, having kids is important. So what I'm saying, man, is you better be as sure as possible that you can carry children to term.
I'm gonna take what you're saying very, very serious, and I'm gonna get that information like from a medical professional, and
So
I'm going.
so then after the ability to produce children, what's number 2 on the list? And what's next on the list of requirements for men?
Well, number two, that's just no, that's a requirement just for me in general. But are you talking about like my type of men, the type of
Well,
men
yeah,
that I like?
because ultimately, that there's so many things that go wrong in human reproduction. I mean, see, today because modern women, you guys are so spoiled. People used to have 8 and 10 children because infant mortality rates were high, children mortality rates were high, and you needed multiple hands. And then women having a child is the most dangerous thing any woman could do. But women today automatically assume that just because you get pregnant, you're gonna carry a child. It's all gonna be healthy and it's all gonna work out to the point to where it's a foregone conclusion. Cool. So if having a kid is that important, what's you got to be judging? That has to be one of the top criteria you picking a man based upon. What's some other
Right.
stuff?
Other stuff would be like his commitment, the how he handles responsibility, um, his compassion towards family,
His commitment to what?
his commitment just in general, just a strong commitment for whatever he believes in.
What do you mean? You could be committed to your football team. You could believe in a football.
You're right. And then have you ever seen somebody who's committed to their football team? They go all out for it. They lose sleep over it. They're out that like just somebody with like a strong sense of commitment and a
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to anything outside of that. You could be committed to trying to find UFOs and aliens, but that there's nothing that is going to come outside of that for most people. So there needs to be some type of substance. But at least she didn't talk about a man making $1 million a year yet, and he has to be this, 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 this. So it ain't that bad. Obviously, there's some masculine issues with this woman, a bit controlling. But all in all, she hasn't said all the bad parts out loud. She said some of them, not all the bad parts.
strong sense of purpose. Somebody who knows exactly what it is that they want and that they're very passionate about getting it.
I don't think you get it.
What?
Because that's what you're supposed to have when you enter into a covenant marriage. It's selfish.
It was so
What you did,
terrible. Like
what you said, ma'am. No, no, ma'am. See, what all I do is I have the conversation. You understand the difference between right and wrong and commitment. The thing you're saying, commitment, sense of family. Well, family, ma'am, you had a family. You had a husband and you had stepchildren.
no,
So what?
they were grown though. They were like
ma'am, they were your stepchildren.
My brother and my father tell me this.
Childish.
Like, when people hear
Childish.
that story, they
Childish. Childish. Mr. Whoever raised you and your 6 siblings, spoiled ass kid right here. Childish. It's true, ma'am. It's childish.
I know it's true. I do know it's true.
And
because
man,
I watch your content a lot, and like
so if you had a son,
reality.
If you had a son, you would want him to run into a woman who treated men like you? Yes or no? Your son marries a woman. Your son marries a woman, and his wife comes and says, "Well, I'm gonna leave you because you can't have kids." You'd say, "All right."
No, because I would want him to be with somebody a little bit more empathetic than that.
Right.
It is terrible. I'm not. It is. I'm. Like I said.
I'm asking seriously, and man, it's not really a value judgment as much as I'm just trying to hold a mirror up to you because you say the shit you say to people around you, and they let you believe this stuff. I'm telling you, somebody who got no dog in the fight. What you immediately said, it was almost like somebody hit the DJ. What?
Because I was just excited to talk to you.
Well, but you said I had no problem with it. Fuck that nigga. His dick didn't work. I'm sorry. Whatever, man. He had kids and he had his babies. I want my babies. But then you turn around and say I got pregnant, but I couldn't have that one baby. I'm like, so how do you know you can have them? You don't know any of this stuff, and you're supposed to mean more with the man you're with than the outcomes. The outcomes are the family is you and him and what y'all make. But it was like, I couldn't have what I wanted. Spoiled ass baby child. It's what I wanted. I want my own kids. And I hope it works out for you. But the way you've told this situation, ooh, that's
Is
why I'm like, this is why I think therapy's so good. So you can
I
talk a
have
lot of this stuff. Mm.
I've been in therapy. I go to therapy twice a month, and I have been for 4 years. Like
Four
my therapist
years.
went through like
4 years.
I have been. Yes, I have been.
Why? Are you on medication?
No,
Ma'am, you
no.
don't be in therapy for 4 years. You're supposed to graduate from therapy.
Oh yeah, well, it's kind of like it goes in. I graduated from the personal part, and then it goes into like it's a group thing with
Okay.
other women, and I just like to go.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I hope you're prepared to be judged as harshly as you judge your husband. Cause, ma'am, jokingly or not, that was horrible. That's just bad.
I,
It's just bad, man. It's just bad. It's just bad, Jessica. It's just bad. It's just
it's so
bad.
terrible.
I mean,
I
but
thought it was
see, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm focusing on so much because you modern women are so goddamn focused on getting what the fuck you want. You don't care about anybody else except you. It's you above everybody else. So I hope you are prepared to live in a world that is as cold as you are.
Great point. Great point. Like they say, a lot of women, they wait at the finish line and then just get with the winner. But I want everyone to please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And turn on post notifications so you will be alerted when we upload more videos just like this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.